మీరు కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ కి ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారా? మీరు మంచి ఆన్లైన్ కోచింగ్ కోసం ఎదురు చూస్తున్నారా? అయితే హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఇప్పుడు ఆన్లైన్ చేస్తుంది. ఆన్లైన్ కోచింగ్ ఫర్ ఏపీపీఎస్సి, టీఎస్పీఎస్సి, ఎస్ఐ కానిస్టేబుల్, ఆర్ఆర్బి, ఎస్ఎస్సి. 24/7 యాక్సెస్, ల్యాప్టాప్ ఆర్ మొబైల్ యాక్సెస్. హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్. Download the app and study materials our mobile app. Visit www.harshitinstitute.co.in. మీరు అనుకున్న జాబ్ ని సాధించండి. హర్షిత్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్. సెల్ 9032200190, 9676525789. youtube.com Harshit Institute.
Now we are going to explain, we have to discuss about one more topic in AP history, that is the Ikshvakas. After Andhra Shatavahanas, the immediate kingdom is Ikshvakas, right? So Ikshvakas, they ruled above Krishna river area. Their capital is Vijaypuri. It is in Guntur district. So they ruled Guntur district area, Prakasam district area, Nalagonda district area, Krishna district area. These areas were ruled by these Ikshvakas. Ikshvakas were subordinates or de facto authorities to Shatavahanas. So Ikshvakas, one of the important kingdom in Andhra Pradesh area. After the declining of Shatavahana dynasty, Ikshvakas were introduced. Ikshvakas are entered to rule above Krishna river area and below Krishna river area. Okay, let me explain. First of all, I want to explain about the highlights, the important points about the Ikshvakas. So let me explain important points. First of all, highlights, we have to see highlights. Okay, highlights, right? The founder of Ikshvaka dynasty. Who was the founder of Ikshvaka dynasty? The Ikshvaka dynasty founder was, who was the founder? The founder was, so Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Sri Shantamula. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. He was the founder of Ikshvaka dynasty. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula was the founder of Ikshvaka dynasty. Who was Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula? Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula was army chief of last Shatavahana ruler, third Pulamavi. He was army chief to third Pulamavi, last ruler of Shatavahana dynasty. Third Pulamavi was last ruler of Shatavahana dynasty. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula was the army chief of this third Pulamavi. Same you see, this Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula also, he kept his name like Shatavahana rulers. Shatavahana rulers, they added their mother name to their names. Even the here also, Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. He followed Shatavahana tradition. Right. So, important ruler. So, Rudra Purushadatta. Important ruler, Rudra Purushadatta. Important ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. So, important ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. Here, the important ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. You know, So Rudra Purushadatta, he was the important ruler in this Ikshvaka dynasty. And last ruler, who was the last ruler? The last ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. So the important ruler was Veera Purushadatta. The important ruler was Veera Purushadatta. The important ruler was Veera Purushadatta. Last ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. Last ruler was Rudra Purushadatta. Right? So here you see, founder was, so Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Founder was Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Founder. Important ruler Veera Purushadatta. Last ruler Rudra Purushadatta. So capital, their capital. What is capital? Vijayapuri. So Vijayapuri was the capital. So you know, it is nearby Sri Parvatam. It is nearby Sri Parvatam. The capital is Vijayapuri. The capital is Vijayapuri, right? And their official language, Prakruta. Official language, Prakruta. Also, they followed and they Sanskrit also. Prakruta and Sanskrit. Prakruta and Sanskrit. And religion. So what was the religion of this Ikshvakas? So Vedic religion and Buddhism. Vedic religion and Buddhism also. Both religions are there. Vedic religion and Buddhism. Okay. And you know, so here the most important inscriptions are there regarding the Ikshvakas. Nagarjunakonda inscription, Amaravati inscription, Jaggepeta inscription, etc. inscriptions are there. So totally, you know, Ikshvakas are ruled this Krishna, above Krishna area and below Krishna area. You know, according to Puranas, 7 kings ruled Ikshvaka dynasty. According to Puranas, 7 kings ruled this Ikshvaka dynasty. But according to inscription, only availability. According to inscriptions, only information available about 4 rulers. 4 rulers, 75 years. But according to Puranas, 7 kings, 100 years. Ikshvaka dynasty was ruled by 7 kings and 100 years, according to Puranas. In fact, there was no source regarding 7 kings and 100 years. But just we have the source about 4 rulers and 75 years. 4 rulers and 75 years, according to inscriptions. So this is the source. It is a fact. Who are the 4 rulers? The 4 rulers, first one is Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Okay. First ruler was Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Second ruler, Veera Purushadatta. Second ruler was Veera Purushadatta. First one, Vasishti Putra Sri Shantamula. Second ruler, Veera Purusha Datta. And third, Ehobala Shantamula. Ehobala Shantamula. So Ehobala Shantamula. Ehobala Shantamula. And the fourth one, Rudra Purusha Datta. Fourth one, Rudra Purusha Datta. Fourth one, Rudra Purusha Datta. So these are the four rulers according to inscriptions. Ikshvaka dynasty was ruled by four rulers according to inscriptions. First one, who is that? Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. Second one, Veera Purusha Datta. Third, Ehobala Shantamula. And fourth, Rudra Purusha Datta. Fourth, Rudra Purusha Datta. Right? You know, these Ikshvakas says that, Ikshvakas are saying that they are the successors of Sri Rama. So why? Because these Ikshvaka rulers were saying that they are the successors of Sri Rama. Why? Because Sri Rama also belongs to Ikshvaka clan. Sri Rama, Lord Sri Rama, that means Ayodhya ruler. He belongs to Ikshvaka clan. As well as these Ikshvakas also saying that we belong to Sri Rama clan. According to Puranas, Ikshvakas have the name Sri Parvatiyas. According to Puranas, they have the name Sri Parvatiya. Sri Parvatiyas. So Sri Parvatiyas, they are called according to Puranas, they have the name Sri Parvatiyulu or Sri Parvatiyas. And also they have the name Andhra Brutyulu. Andhra Brutyulu. Right? You remember these two names. Who are the Sri Parvatiyas? Who has the name Sri Parvatiyas? So Ikshvakas have the name Sri Parvatiyas. And as well as they have the name Andhra Brutyulu. They have the name Andhra Brutyulu. So they have the name Andhra Brutyulu. Right? And you know, here they have two concepts, two names, Sri Parvatiyas and Andhra Brutyulu. Okay. And what is native place of Ikshvakas? What is native place of Ikshvakas? But there are different names, different opinions. Somebody will say North Indians. Somebody will say Kannada area. Somebody will say Tamil Nadu area. But finally, maximum historians decided Ikshvakas are belonging to Krishna coastal area, Telugu Andhra area, Telangana Andhra area, Krishna coastal area. Right? So they belongs to Krishna coastal area. That's it. Maybe might be so many opinions. They belong to North India, they belong to Kannada area, they belong to Tamil Nadu area. But finally, maximum historians decided that they belong to coastal, Krishna coastal area. That means Telangana and Andhra area. Okay, but you know, here these Ikshvakas have a lot of importance. Here, some of the important statements regarding to these Ikshvakas. Some of important statements. They have some importance. For example, if you see Shatavahanas, first dynasty in Andhra Pradesh. Shatavahanas. So, first rulers, 30 rulers, maximum rulers. Like that, Ikshvakas has some of the importance. Only because of Ikshvakas, that system was introduced. Because of Ikshvakas, that system was introduced. What is that? Yeah, right, first one. The importance of Ikshvakas. What were the important issues introduced by, what was the important issue? What are the important issues introduced by Ikshvakas? Right, first, you know, they developed Buddhism. Pure South Indian dynasty developed Buddhism. In South India, it is one and only dynasty developed Buddhism perfectly, not partially, not in a parts, but perfectly. That's why Buddhism was developed in the period of Ikshvakas. And next, Sanskrit became official language. It was first South Indian dynasty. Sanskrit became the official language. They introduced Sanskrit. They laid Nagarjuna Konda inscription. Nagarjuna Konda inscription. They laid Nagarjuna Konda inscription. It is the first Sanskrit inscription in South India. Ehobala Shantamula laid Sanskrit inscription. Ehobala Shantamula laid Sanskrit inscription. So it was first Sanskrit inscription in South India, which was laid by Ikshvakas. What was the first Sanskrit inscription in India? Nanagat, Girnar inscription, Nanagat inscription, which was laid by Rudradhama. But in South India, what is the Sanskrit inscription? Nagarjuna Konda inscription. It was first Sanskrit inscription. So these Ikshvakas laid first Sanskrit inscription in South India and introduced Sanskrit as official language. It was first kingdom dynasty in South India. And next, so temples. First South Indian kingdom constructed temples. First South Indian kingdom constructed temples. In the period of Ehobala Shantamula. In the period of Ehobala Shantamula, there are so many temples were constructed. In the period of Ehobala Shantamula, so many temples were constructed. In the period of Ehobala Shantamula. So here, it was the first kingdom in South India constructed temples, right? And so it was the first kingdom started marriages with niece. It was the first kingdom marriages with niece. Means here, Veera Purushadatta, he married the daughters of his paternal aunt. Okay, Veera Purushadatta got married daughters of his paternal aunt daughters. It was first tradition introduced in the period of Ikshvakas. The marriage with daughters of paternal aunt. So the marriage between paternal aunt daughters and maternal uncle son. Right? So this is the important concepts regarding Ikshvakas. Important concepts regarding Ikshvakas. Right? What is that? Buddhism was developed in the period of Ikshvakas. Sanskrit became official language in the period of Ikshvakas. And Nagarjuna Konda inscription was first Sanskrit inscription in South India. Construction of the temples. First kingdom constructed temples in South India. First kingdom started the marriages with daughters of paternal aunt. So these are the important concepts regarding Ikshvakas. Now we have to discuss about political history of Ikshvakas. What is political history? What is political history of Ikshvaka rulers? Right. The first ruler in the Ikshvaka dynasty, the first ruler was the Vasisti putra Sri Shantamula. Vasisti putra Sri Shantamula. Vasisti putra Sri Shantamula. So he ruled from 225 AD to 245 AD. 245 AD. 225 AD to 245 AD. Vasisti putra Sri Shantamula. Right? So first of all, we have to see what are the titles. What are the titles of Vasisti putra Sri Shantamula? So Shata Sahasra as a title. Shata Sahasra. So Shata Sahasra Maha Alaka Mahadanadipati. Shata Sahasra Alaka Mahadanadipati. Shata Sahasra Alaka Mahadanadipati. Shata Sahasra Alaka Mahadanadipati. He has the title Shata Sahasra Alaka Mahadanadipati. He has the title. You know, he was founder of Ikshvaka dynasty. He was army chief. He was army chief of third Pulamavi, the last ruler of Shatavahanas. He was last ruler of Shatavahanas, third Pulamavi. He was army chief of third Pulamavi. He defeated Vasistiputra Sri Shantamula, defeated third Pulamavi, and third Pulamavi escaped to Ballari. He left kingdom and escaped to Ballari, Karnataka. Then Shantamula started the ruling, but officially he became the ruler of this Ikshvaka dynasty from 225 AD. From 225 AD. You know, he has a title Shata Sahasra Alaka Mahadanadipati. Shata Sahasra, 100,000. That means 1 lakh. 1 lakh. So he donated 1 lakh plus alaka, plus. And he donated buffaloes to plow, to cultivate, to plow in the land. He encouraged agriculture. This is concept. He encouraged agriculture. So he encouraged agriculture. He donated 1 lakh plus to the farmers to do agriculture. Right? You know, he was Vedic religionist. He was Vedic religionist. Remember, he was Vedic religionist. And also, he was devotee of Kartikeya. He was devotee of Kumaraswamy or Kartikeya. He was devotee of Kartikeya. He was devotee of Kartikeya. Vasistiputra Sri Shantamula, devotee of Kartikeya. Right? You know, he did some sacrificings. Ashwamedha, Vajipeya, Agnistoma, Agnihotra. He did sacrifices. Earlier I told you, those who are belonging to Vedic religionism, they will do sacrificings. The Buddhist rulers will not do Ashwamedha, Rajasuya sacrificings. The Jainist rulers will not do Ashwamedha, Rajasuya sacrifices. But only the Vedic religionist rulers, only who belongs to Vedic religion, they will do sacrifices. Ashwamedha, Rajasuya, Agnistoma, Agnihotra. So this one, Vasistiputra Sri Shantamula, It did Ashwamedha, Vajpaya, Agnistoma, Agnihotra sacrifices. Why? Because you see, in Nagarjuna Konda, the biggest dais was appeared while in the excavations. In the excavations, one biggest dais, it was saying that, it was indicating that about Ashwamedha sacrificing. Because of that dais stage, the historians decided, oh, this Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula did the Ashwamedha sacrificing. Generally, you know, who does the sacrificings, they will get titles. They will get titles. For example, Rajasuya. If any king did Rajasuya sacrificing, for example, Rajasuya. What do you know? What is Rajasuya? What is Rajasuya sacrificing? Do you know what is Rajasuya? Do you know what is Rajasuya sacrificing? What is Rajasuya Krat? Rajasuya sacrificing means it is one kind of homa, one kind of yajna, one kind of sacrificing. Rajasuya. The king, he wants to dominate. He wants to show the authority on neighbor kings. All the neighbor kings will become subordinates or deputies to this king. Who does the Rajasuya sacrificing? That indication, all the neighbor kings will be subordinate to that king. For that superior authority, the Rajasuya sacrificing will be completed. So, who completed Rajasuya sacrificing, they will have the title. So, Samrat. They will have the title Samrat or Raraja. Samrat or Raraja. So, Vasishtiputra Pulamavi, Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula has done Ashwamedha, has done Vajpaya, has done Agnihotra and Agnistoma. But here I am saying to you for your reference, who has done Rajasuya, they will get Samrat and Raraja. And second, Ashwamedha. If anybody does Ashwamedha sacrificing, they will get title. Swarat. They will get title Swarat. And what is Ashwamedha? Ashwamedha means Ashwamedha. So Ashwamedha, you know what is Ashwamedha sacrificing? Ashwamedha sacrificing means the horse will be decorated. They can release the horse. How the horse is roaming, the total area will comes under the control of that king. That is Ashwamedha. Ashwamedha sacrificing will be done only for the extension of the kingdom. Ashwamedha sacrificing will be done to extend, to spread the boundaries of the kingdom. That is Ashwamedha. They will release, they will send one horse, how it is roaming, how it is running. That area, total area covers by or under the authority of that king. That is called, so that is Ashwamedha. And Vajpaya, who have completed Ashwamedha, they will get title Swarat. And next to Vajpaya. Next sacrificing Vajpaya. What is Vajpaya? Vajpaya means it is one kind of sacrificing to show the obedience of the people. The king will do this sacrificing to know the obedience of the people. How the people are having obedience towards the king. So that is Vajpaya sacrificing. If anybody has done sacrificing of Vajpaya, they will get title Virat. They will get title Virat. And Narameda, one more important. Narameda. So Narameda sacrificing. What is Narameda? Narameda means the security, the bodyguards will sacrifice their life jumping into fire altar. For the sake of the king, for the sake of the king, his bodyguards, his security will jump in the fire altar and they can suicide themselves. They can sacrifice their life themselves while jumping into fire altar. That is Narameda. You know, in India, only one king has done this Narameda sacrifice. One and only king. That was Madhavarma to Vishnu Kundiri. One and only king was there in India. Did Narameda, conducted Narameda. That king was second Madhavarma. That king was second Madhavarma, Vishnu Kundiri. If anybody completed this Narameda, they will get title Ek Virat. You write Ek Virat. You write this all the titles. If anybody completes these sacrificings, they will get these titles. If they complete Rajasuya, they will get Samrat or Raraj. If they complete Ashwamedha, Swarat. If they complete Vajpeya, they complete Virat. They will get Virat title. And if they complete Narameda, they will get Ek Virat. So these are the titles. These are the titles. Okay. But you know here, Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula, Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula, he conducted Ashwamedha, Agnishtoma, Agnihotra, Vajpaya, etc. You know? Yes. He laid some inscriptions. There are some inscriptions of Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. There are some inscriptions. So Dachepalli inscription, Dachepalli, nearby Miryalaguda, Dachepalli inscription. So Dachepalli inscription, Rentala inscription, Keshanapalli inscription, Keshanapalli inscription. There are three inscriptions laid by Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. He laid two inscriptions, three. Rentala, Dachepalli and Keshanapalli inscriptions. You know, he is Vedic religionist. He is a devotee of Kartikeya. He donated 1 lakh plows to the people to cultivate the land for the development of agriculture. Right? He has two sisters. That is Shantisri, Arimasri. He has two sisters. Shantisri. Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula has two sisters. Shantisri and Arimasri. Shantisri and Arimasri. He has two sisters. Right? He has two sisters. And you know, Shantisri and Arimasri. Okay? Shantisri and Arimasri, both are the sisters to Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. And is a son, Veera Purusha Datta. He has a son, Vasishti Sri Shantamula has the son, Veera Purusha Datta. He was strongest ruler among all Ikshvaka rulers. Veera Purusha Datta. He was son of Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. And he has daughter Adavi Shantisri. Also called Chantasiri, Adavi Chantasiri. Prakruta language. Adavi Chantasiri. Right? He has one daughter, one son. Son was Veera Purushadatta, daughter was Adavi Shantisri. So her marriage with Vishakha, who was the richest person regarding to Skanda clan. So Adavi Shantisri marriage with Skanda Vishakha. Skanda Vishakha, he was one of the richest person in those days, right? So he constructed Adavi Shantisri constructed Bauddha Arama in Nagarjunakonda. So Adavi Shantisri, who was daughter of Adavi Shantisri, who was daughter of what is that? Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula. She constructed vihara for Bauddha monks. Okay, after Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula, his son Veera Purushadatta became the ruler. After Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula, his son Veera Purushadatta. So Veera Purushadatta became the ruler of Ikshvaka dynasty. Veera Purushadatta became the ruler of this Ikshvaka dynasty. He has the title South Indian Ashoka. He has title South Indian Ashoka. He has the title South Indian Ashoka. Why? Because there was Ashoka who strived for development of Buddhism. In South India also, this person strived for the development of Buddhism. So he has the title South Indian Ashoka. He has title South Indian Ashoka. One and only king in Ikshvaka dynasty took Buddhism, that Veera Purushadatta. One and only Ikshvaka ruler. He was the ruler only, took Buddhism. In Ikshvaka dynasty, no other rulers have taken Buddhism. This one only, he took Buddhism. Right? In his period, the Buddhism, it is called, his period is called the Golden Age for Buddhism. Okay, Veera Purushadatta period as the title. So Golden Age of Buddhism. Golden Age of Buddhism. So Veera Purushadatta ruling period as the popular name, so popular known as Golden Age of Buddhism. Golden Age of Buddhism. He belongs to Mahayana Buddhism. Veera Purushadatta belongs to Mahayana Buddhism. So he ruled from 245 to 265 AD. He ruled from 245 AD to 265 AD. So he followed Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhism proposed by Acharya Nagarjuna. Acharya Nagarjuna was stayed. Acharya Nagarjuna stayed in Nandikonda or Nagarjuna Konda, Sri Parvatam. That's why. So here Veera Purushadatta also followed the Mahayana Buddhism. So he in Nagarjuna Konda, it's became the greatest Buddhist holy place, Buddhist pilgrimage in the period of this Veera Purushadatta. Right? Yuan Sang, according to Yuan Sang writings, Bhava Viveka, the one of the what we can say logic one of the philosopher, Bhava Vivekudu, he lived in Vijayapuri according to Yuan Sang. Yuan Sang visited Yuan Sang visited this Nagarjuna Konda in the period of Harshavardhana, okay, in the period of Chalukyas, Western Chalukyas. So he mentioned that Bhava Viveka, the great philosopher, he lived in the period of Veera Purusha Datta. You know, this Veera Purusha Datta established the Buddhist university in Sri Parvatam. So he established Buddhist university. He established Buddhist university in Sri Parvatam. So many Buddhist students came to Nagarjuna Konda, studied in Nagarjuna Konda. This is the first Buddhist university in India, Sri Parvata University. It's called Sri Parvata University. Who established this Sri Parvata University? Veera Purusha Datta. Veera Purusha Datta established Sri Parvata University. It is the biggest Buddhist university in India. He was the first. It is the first Buddhist university in India. Right? So, you know, there is one idol in Nagarjuna Konda. There is one idol was appeared. One idol has appeared in Nagarjuna Konda. What kind of idol, you know? One person kicking Shivalinga. He was kicking Shivalinga like this. He was kicking Shivalinga like this. The historians stated that person who is kicking Shivalinga, that person might be Veera Purusha Datta. Because Veera Purusha Datta took Buddhism. Veera Purusha Datta took Buddhism. That's why he hated the Buddhism, Vedikism, Vedic religionism. That is why the person who is kicking, that might be Veera Purusha Datta. So he disliked the Vedic religion. He liked so much Buddhism, right? So he married first time in South India also, he married his cousins. Cousins means daughters of his maternal aunt. Maternal aunt means his father's sisters. Adivisri, Chantasri. Adivisri and one more, Chantasri. So, those both are paternal aunts to Veera Purusha Datta. He married their daughters. Okay? This is the tradition has started from the Ikshvakas period. What was the tradition? The marriage with daughters of maternal aunts. The marriage with the daughters of maternal aunt. Okay, so this is the first time this tradition was started in Ikshvakas dynasty. So the marriage with daughters of paternal aunts. Simply we can say Menatta Kuturlu. Simply we can say the marriage with Menatta Kuturlu. Menatta daughters. So before Ikshvakas, this tradition was not there. From the Ikshvakas period and Veera Purusha Datta period, this kind of method started. So whatever in Ikshvaka dynasty, Veera Purusha Datta is the strongest. Veera Purusha Datta is an important ruler, and Veera Purusha Datta is a Buddhist ruler. One and only Buddhist ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty. One and only Buddhist ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty. Right? So he laid inscriptions. So Veera Purusha Datta laid some inscriptions. I want to write here, just you copy it. So he laid inscriptions here. What are the inscriptions? One, Alluri Shasanam. Alluri inscription. Alluri inscription. So Alluri inscription. Allur inscription. And next to Nagarjuna Konda inscription. Nagarjuna Konda inscription. Allur inscription, Nagarjuna Konda inscription, and the second inscription, that was Amaravati inscription. So Amaravati inscription. Amaravati inscription. Allur inscription, Nagarjuna Konda inscription, Amaravati inscription, Uppugunduru inscription. Uppugunduru inscription. Uppugunduru inscription. Alluri inscription, Nagarjuna Konda inscription, Amaravati inscription, Uppugunduru inscription, and Jaggayapeta inscription. Jaggayapeta inscription. Jaggayapeta inscription. These are the 5 inscriptions were laid by Veera Purushadatta. You know, in the period of, you remember these inscriptions. These inscriptions are laid by Veera Purushadatta, the important ruler in Ikshvakas. Allur inscription, Nagarjuna Konda inscription, Amaravati inscription, Uppugunduru inscription, Jaggayapeta inscription. You know, in his period, the one of the lady, she strived for the development of Buddhism. Whenever Veera Purushadatta was ruling Ikshvaka dynasty, there was one important lady. So that lady was Upasika Bodhisri. Upasika Bodhisri. Upasika Bodhisri. The one of the important lady, Upasika Bodhisri. Right? Upadika Bodhisri. She strived for the development of Buddhism. Upadika Bodhisri. She was there in the period of Veera Purushadatta. Right? So what was the contribution of this Upadika Bodhisri? She was a niece of Bodhisharma. She was niece of Bodhisharma. Upasika Bodhisri was niece. Upadika Bodhisri was niece of Bodhisharma. Who was Bodhisharma? Bodhisharma was Bandagarika in Amaravati area. He was Bandagarika, treasurer to Amaravati treasure. Okay, she she strived for the development of Buddhism in this Amaravati area in Ikshvaka dynasty. So she sent Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka, Kashmir, Tibet areas. She sent so many Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka, Kashmir, Tibet, etc. areas. And also, according to our inscriptions, so many monks were invited by Bodhisri, Upasika Bodhisri from Sri Lanka. Right? And you know, she, Upadika Bodhisri, constructed the Bauddha Vihara Chaitya in Nagarjuna Konda, Chula Dhammagiri hill. Chula Dhammagiri. Chula Dhammagiri. So Chula Dhammagiri, it is nearby Nagarjuna Konda. On this hill, she constructed Bauddha Vihara and Chaityas. You know, she was the most important lady in the period of Veera Purushadatta, strived for the development of Buddhism. Upasika Bodhisri. She was niece of Bodhisharma, who was the treasurer of Amaravati area. So you must be remember, Veera Purushadatta was important ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty. He has the title South Indian Ashoka. One and only Ikshvaka ruler took Buddhism and strived for the development of Buddhism. Okay, and you see, he Buddhism is period has the name the golden age for Buddhism. The golden age of Buddhism or golden age for Buddhism. Veerapurusha started the marriage with daughters of paternal aunts. Right? And Veerapurusha established a Buddhist university in Sri Parvatam. That is called Sri Parvata University. That is Buddhist university. The Sri Parvata Buddhist University was established by Veerapurusha Datta. Right? After Veerapurusha Datta, his son became the ruler of Ikshvaka dynasty. He has the name Ehubala Shantamula. The third ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty. The third ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty, Ehubala Shantamula. Ehubala Shantamula. So Ehubala Shantamula, he was third ruler, son of Veerapurusha Datta. He ruled from 265 to 290. He ruled from 265 to 290. Ehubala Shantamula. Ehubala Shantamula. You know, he was son of Veerapurusha Datta. Ehubala Shantamula was son of Veerapurusha Datta. You know, he was quite different to his father because he was strived for the development of Vedic religionism. Of course, Buddhism also developed in his period, but more than Buddhism, the Vedic religion was developed. The Vedic religion was developed. And this person, Ehubala Shantamula, donated the lands for the Buddhist Sangha. Ehubala Shantamula, he strived for the development of Buddhism as well as he strived for the development of Vedic religionism. But he donated the lands to Buddhist aramas, Buddhist sanghas. Okay, there are so many inscriptions in Nagarjunakonda regarding Ehubala Shantamula. So many inscriptions founded in Nagarjunakonda, those inscriptions are belonging to Ehubala Shantamula. You know, he laid a Sanskrit inscription. First of all, he started to laying the Sanskrit inscription in South India. That is first Nagarjunakonda. Nagarjunakonda inscription was first Sanskrit inscription in South India. It was laid by Ehubala Shantamula. So Ehubala Shantamula became first ruler in South India, laid Sanskrit inscriptions. In India, who was first ruler laid Sanskrit inscriptions in India? Rudradama. What was the inscription? Girnar and Junagadh. But here, Ehubala Shantamula was the first ruler in India laid inscriptions in Sanskrit. It is the first Sanskrit inscription in South India. So besides of this Sanskrit inscription, he laid Prakrita inscription also. So Gummadi Guru inscription. So here Nagarjunakonda inscription. Nagarjunakonda inscription. And next Gummadi Guru inscription. Gummadi Guru inscription. Right. Nagarjunakonda inscription, it is there. It is Sanskrit inscription. It is a Prakrita inscription. Prakrita or Prakrita inscription. He laid two inscriptions. One, Nagarjunakonda inscription. Two, Gummadi Guru inscription. Nagarjunakonda inscription is Sanskrit inscription. Gummadi Guru inscription is Prakrita inscription. So you remember, Ehubala Shantamula was first ruler in South India, laid the Sanskrit inscriptions. Laid the Sanskrit inscriptions. He was first ruler in South India, laid Sanskrit inscriptions. And also, you know, he was first ruler in South India, built temples. He built so many temples in Nagarjuna Konda. He built so many temples in Nagarjuna Konda. Pushpabhadra Narayana Swami temple, Kartikeya temple, Navagraha temple, Nandikeshwara temple, Ariti temple. All these temples were constructed by Yehubala Shantamula in Nagarjuna Konda. You know, Pushpabhadra Narayana Swami temple, Kartikeya temple, Navagraha temple, Nandikeshwara temple, Hariti temple, Hariti temple. You know Hariti temple? Hariti temple. So Hariti temple, it is a goddess of children. Hariti temple means Hariti is the goddess of children. So he was first ruler in South India. Yehubala Shantamula was first ruler in South India, constructed the temples, Hindu temples, constructed Hindu temples. You remember? First Sanskrit inscription was laid by Yehubala Shantamula in South India. First Hindu temples were constructed by Yehubala Shantamula in South India. We should remember these 2 points. First, Sanskrit inscription in South India. First Hindu temples in South India. That credit goes to Yehubala Shantamula. Even though you know his army chief, Elisiri, he has army chief, his name was Elisiri. He was constructed Kumaraswamy temple in Nagarjuna Konda. He also constructed Kumaraswamy temple in Nagarjuna Konda. And you know, his sister Konda Siri, she constructed Bauddha Vihara in Nagarjuna Konda. His sister Konda Siri, Konda Siri constructed the Bauddha Vihara in Nagarjuna Konda. So this is Yehubala Shantamula. You have to remember the information regarding Yehubala Shantamula. Right? Veera Purushadatta has some specialities. Yehubala Shantamula has some specialities. He served for Buddhism. And as well as Vedic religionism. He constructed temples. He laid Sanskrit inscription. He constructed viharas. He served for the Buddhism development. He married daughters of paternal aunt, like that. Veera Purushadatta and Yehubala Shantamula. Father and son. Both are strived for the development of Ikshvaka dynasty. He has 2 inscriptions. Nagarjuna Konda inscriptions and Gumbadiguru inscription. And the last ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty, was the last ruler Rudra Purushadatta. The last ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty, Rudra Purushadatta. Rudra Purushadatta. Rudra Purushadatta, last ruler. He ruled from 290 to 300. You know, he was last ruler. His inscriptions founded in Gurajala area. Palladi area, Gurajala area. His inscriptions were founded in Gurajala area. He was last ruler in Ikshvaka dynasty. You know, he was defeated by Pallava Simhavarma. Pallava Simhavarma. He was defeated by Pallava Simhavarma. According to Manchikallu inscription. According to Manchikallu inscription. According to Manchikallu inscription, he was defeated by Simhavarma, Pallava founder. Pallava dynasty founder, Simhavarma, Pallava dynasty founder was Simhavarma. This Simhavarma defeated Rudra Purushadatta. Right? And also, one more inscription is explaining about the declining of Ikshvaka dynasty. One more inscription. That inscription was Maidavolu inscription. Maidavolu inscription. Maidavolu. So Maidavolu inscription is explaining about the declining of Ikshvaka dynasty. Maidavolu inscription is explaining of the declining of Ikshvaka dynasty. That is Maidavolu inscription. Who laid this Maidavolu inscription? So who laid this Maidavolu inscription? That is Skandavarma. Pallava Skandavarma. Pallava Skandavarma. So Pallava Skandavarma laid Maidavolu inscription. That Maidavolu inscription is explaining about the declining of Ikshvaka dynasty. So this is the political history of Ikshvakas. 4 rulers, 75 years. According to inscriptions, 4 rulers, 75 years. Vasishtiputra Sri Shantamula, Veera Purushadatta, Ehobala Shantamula, Rudra Purushadatta. These 4 rulers ruled Ikshvaka dynasty. This Ikshvaka dynasty was started in Vijayapuri. It's the capital. Vijayapur is the capital nearby Sri Parvatam. They ruled Guntur, Prakasham and Krishna, Nalagonda, Mahabubnagar areas. Above and below Krishna river. Right? So, in the period of Ikshvakas, the Hindu temples were constructed. The construction of Hindu temple was started. And marriage with the daughters of paternal aunt also started. Sanskrit inscription, first Sanskrit inscription South India also laid. Buddhist university was established. So many important things are there regarding Ikshvaka dynasty. Right? This is the political history of Ikshvakas.